This video is called Three Types of Women Men Should Avoid Dating and or Marrying. I was gonna say but it's three types of women men should avoid dating and marrying. This is from Rich Cooper Clips. Y'all can check him out on YouTube. Rich Cooper, Cooper Clips. Check out his channel, subscribe to his channel, and check out all his videos. I just and hit the thumbs up button too, like I just did on his video. Let's get into it. Ain't no sound. What happened to the sound? No sound. What happened to the sound? Where's the sound at? Oh shit. No sound. Dang it. Damn thing. Do this. Okay, where's the sound?
The most dangerous, in my experience anyway, is one with daddy issues. One that did not grow up with a strong role model of a good father. For those dads out there that have little girls, I'll flash up on the screen in a moment.
You got a book or something?
Grab this book. It's by Dr. Kevin Lehman, and phenomenal. It'll teach you how to raise your little girls without screwing them up so they can operate as an adult. But these women that have daddy issues, that grew up in a home without a strong male role model, are a freaking nightmare. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the father was or wasn't home. It could, I mean, he could have been a piece of furniture in the house and just sat around and never engaged his daughters.
Right.
Or he could have been one of these in and out dads that was divorced or traveling all the time or whatever it was. But it's not just spending time with the little girls, it's engaging them in activities and basically demonstrating to them, to the girls, so that they can grow up into strong, smart, intelligent, and emotionally stable women, that men are valuable. You know, as an entrepreneur, you're strong, you're an alpha male, you're a A-type personality. You generally don't take crap from many people. So if you're like me, you're watching the channel, you're either an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, or you're looking for some sort of tips or success knowledge. I know that 95% of the people that watch my videos are guys. You know, the demographics are there to say that. So it's important that you know that if you're that type of guy, you need a woman that is going to respect and value those types of qualities in a man.
Right.
And if a woman grew up, or if a girl grew up in a house that didn't have a strong male role model, it doesn't even have to be the father. It could be an uncle, it could be a grandfather. You know, sometimes women are widowed and the father dies or something. As long as there's a strong male role model in that home that showed her how a man should be. And I'm not talking about, you know, bullshit like grunting and having a beer and grabbing his nuts and scratching and stuff. I'm talking about being able to get down on the ground and play with his little girl and engage her in conversation and take her places and have daddy-daughter events and nights and things like that. One of the first things that I do when I meet a new woman or dating her is I'll ask her what her relationship was like with her parents. And if it's completely absent or she had a bad relationship with her father, huge red flags. Huge. Life is just better if you do not date a woman that has daddy issues. They're not always easy to spot, but if you ask them what their experience was growing up and what her relationship is like with her parents, she's going to start to talk about her father, and you're going to start to hear about those stories and the patterns that exist, and pay attention to them, like listen very, very closely. One of the things that tends to happen if a girl has daddy issues is whatever parent is opposite sex, so again, females is always going to be male, whatever parent is the opposite sex, if they have unresolved issues, love, desire, need, you know, things like that, they can tend to try to reconcile those outstanding issues on the man in their life today. So you might be a great guy, but she might have had a shitty father or a shitty childhood. She can often try to reconcile or resolve those issues on you when there's really nothing there that needs to be resolved, and she thinks it's in her head. The other thing that can happen is they don't tend to respect the value that you bring to the table. You're an accomplished guy, you might be a firstborn, you might be alpha, you might be an entrepreneur, And if you bring a ton of value to the table, you get stuff done. If they didn't grow up in a house with a guy like that around, they don't value it. They don't give a shit. It's just not something that they care about. So while you might have worked hard in your life to get to where you're at or to accomplish things that you have, she's not going to value it. Because she didn't value it as a child, why would she value it as an adult woman? She just doesn't. He's definitely not going to be a priority to her as an adult. He'll be an option to her at that time, and it can be very easy for her to walk away if there's something that she doesn't like or doesn't serve her needs at that time. So again, life is just simpler this way. If you spot a woman with daddy issues, my advice, don't even waste your time. Now, the one caveat I've got to warn you about is don't confuse women that have had a strong male role model in their life with dads that are pussified. And what I mean by that is there's women out there roaming around today that have had fathers in their lives, but they have served them their entire life. And you see it in adulthood, and what it looks like is this. Daddy, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I got to move something in my house. And he'll drop what he's doing, show up at her house, and go and move things around and do things and serve her and paint walls and hang chandeliers and do all kinds of crazy shit all the time. And that pussified father is what she's going to expect from you as a man, the guy that she's dating, the guy that she's with. She's going to expect you to bend over backwards to do everything for her because that's the experience that she had. So that's the one caveat that you got to be careful with is she ends up with a father that's completely pussified that will bend over backwards to serve her all the time. The next kind of woman that you want to try to avoid, number 2, is the one that's looking to be saved, rescued, supported, whatever you want to call it. There's women, and I don't understand this, like we live in a world where, feminism has come out in the 60s, 70s, whenever it was, but we still live in a world today where women want to stand on their own 2 feet, or at least give the impression they do, but yet they go around in life picking and choosing what they should and shouldn't do. It's like, I want to have rights, and I want to vote, and I want to get paid equally, and all that stuff, and that's fine, and I'm totally for that. I've got a daughter, I get it. But then when it comes to certain things like, I don't know, maybe picking up a tab every once in a while when you go out for dinner, they're like, oh, that's okay, I don't want to deal with that shit because I've got this stuff over here, and I get to be a woman and, be served. It can get even worse if they're the type of woman that needs you to buy them fucking snow tires or have their driveway plowed for them. You're basically throwing money at them like you need to support or save them. And I didn't really understand this concept until the last few years. I ran into a guy at an event in Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. We were doing off-road dune bugging with some other entrepreneurs. We had a chat over dinner, and he's telling me about his experience with his current, he's on his second wife, and he was telling me that, he got tired when he got into his late 30s and 40s of dating women that needed to be saved. I didn't understand what that meant. I think I was married at the time, but I figured it out. I figured out being single and getting into the dating world in the last few years. There's a demographic of women out there that are looking for guys to take care of their asses. And, while money will continue to grow in our interest and multiply into perpetuity, women don't. If they're getting in, if they're getting to the stage where they haven't been able to stand on their own 2 feet and they're looking for a guy to rescue them and take care of them, right. That's just a liability. Women and guys should be able to stand on their own 2 feet. There shouldn't be gold diggers or pigeons or whatever you want to call them that need somebody else to support them. They should be able to take care of themselves. Stay away from women like this. All they're going to do is milk you dry. And, signals and signs of that is when they start talking about their relationships, if they haven't got money, if they never offer to pick up a tab, things like that. If they're selfish and it's all about them, stay well away from women that need to be saved. Okay, and the last type of woman that you want to stay away from, the third kind, is the type that are always fighting with their exes over custody and money. Women have children. We live in a world of divorce and separation, and I just don't understand it. A child needs equal exposure to both parents, man and woman. Unless the guy's a total degenerate, deadbeat, criminal, whatever it is, there's absolutely no reason why there should be conflict in court where it's over custody, which is really just about money, child support, and things like that, because it gets jacked up quite a bit in Canada anyway. if there's no shared parenting plan, if the child's with one parent most of the time, and then the daddy gets like the screwed over every other weekend, Wednesday night dinner type deal, that's where all the time and money flows to the female, and the guy has no control and no exposure to his child, and ends up throwing all kinds of money and resources at it. So if you run into a woman that's single, she's been separated, first of all, stay away from separated women. They're nothing but trouble. They haven't reconciled their divorces yet. But if you run into a woman that has a child and she's constantly fighting with her ex, and there's drama over money, over custody and support and stuff like that, you don't need that shit. There's plenty of women out in the world, even if they have kids that have gotten past that are in a good place with their ex, they share parenting. If there's children in the picture, the kid should be with the other parent. The other thing, from your perspective, is when does it leave you time to go out with her? If she's always got the kids all the freaking time, it's never going to happen. Or you end up being like the surrogate dad. Like, these children are not yours. They didn't come out of your balls. You don't need to support them. There should be a father in the picture that looks after them. So do not get involved with women that are constantly fighting with their ex over money and child support or custody. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode.
Yeah. Good advice. I like to watch this guy's YouTube channel, Rich Cooper Clips. Oh, he had another one. I think he has another channel too. But yeah, Rich Cooper Clips. That's some good advice. Yeah, don't mess with. Yeah, I would say leave single moms on. If I was young and didn't have no kids, I wouldn't fuck with no single moms at all. I was in my 20s. See, when you get my age in your 40s, you have no choice. There's all these women my age and got knocked up already. So I have to deal with women with kids and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? I could skeet and skedaddle, but after a while it gets old. You eventually want to settle down with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Skeet and then blocking somebody is just it gets tiring after a while. You know what I'm saying? After you hit it and quit it, hit it and quit it, toot it and boot it. You know, that's what dudes used to do with single moms. Make sure you put a condom on though if you're gonna do that, because you don't want to be stepdad by default. If you're gonna, I'm telling you, don't mess with them if you're young. If you were young, don't have any kids, don't mess with no single moms. But if you do, because Slims, these bras be getting skeeted in at 12, so it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to kind of dodge them, you know. But you have to just make sure you just wear a condom. I know it takes away all the feeling, but just wear a condom so you don't be a stepdad by default. Because you end up knocking her up, and she got 2 more kids with 2 other dudes. Now you baby daddy number 3. That's tragedy. You don't want to put yourself. You don't want to start your life that way, especially when you're young, trying to get yourself together. You don't want to deal with that shit. Anyway, what do y'all think about this video, man? Leave your comments and subscribe to Charles Arnes World. Hit the thumbs up button.